Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We are always looking to try and figure out which weapons in Warzone are going to get you a kill the fastest, the best TTK options in the game. And a lot of the times they come from weapons that you might not necessarily expect. Obviously, we have our defined top meta guns that are out there, the NZ, the STG, the Marco, the Blix, and so on and so forth. Obviously, they're top meta weapons because they're good at what they're supposed to do. They do kill quickly, they got low recoil, but also there are some sleeper guns that have ridiculously fast TTKs, and today we got several of those. We also have some weapons you might expect to see as we're going through the top 5 best TTK guns in the game right now. As we break them down, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. So the first weapon we're looking at is the Marco 5, but it's actually the Akimbo version. We're gonna go ahead and throw on the Akimbo perk first and foremost because these two weapons in your hands are gonna fry. But obviously this one's got a bit of an asterisk on it because it's hipfire only, so it's really dependent on that RNG hipfire aspect. If you're landing a ton of shots, it's gonna be great, but you could potentially miss some that's gonna give you that sort of awkward gunfight here and there that where the enemy might end up hitting more shots than you just because they're ADSing and your hipfire spread might not be super forgiving. But a super accurate hipfire spread here could have a sub 550 millisecond TTK through 20 meters. Now, that's not the most realistic outcome just because of that RNG, but if you're landing shots with the Akimbo set up close, you are going to fry. Like, there's no other way to put it. So we're going for recoil booster here as well. For the barrel here, honestly, this is a clear choice. Bodhi 285 is better hip fire accuracy, so obviously you want to go for that. I feel like the Lesto is not the worst in the world, but obviously we want to be as accurate as we possibly can, so we're gonna go for that. The 2.5 times optic here does still help out with the control, so we're gonna go ahead and run that even if we're not ADSing. The folding stock here also offers better hip fire accuracy, so of course we got that. No underbarrel, obviously, because that's blocks. I like the Nimbus 64, again, better hip fire accuracy, also just a larger mag for spraying and praying. We're gonna go ahead and actually end up running subsonic here, or you could go for frangible and get that wounding effect, maybe slow some enemies down here and there. I think both of those are good choices. For the rear grip, basic choice here as well. I think Pine Tar, better hip fire accuracy yet again. Then perk 2, I like quick for that better sprint speed. You could also go for fully loaded. Both of those are great choices, but yeah, if you're landing your shots with this hip fire, enemies do not stand a chance. Next up, we got a Cooper, and this thing, in my opinion, easily the best sniper support choice in the game. Low recoil, great TTK, like it is very basic to use, it is consistent, it's been a decent weapon pretty much the entire time that the Vanguard integration has been here. This actually has just about a 700 millisecond TTK through about 30 meters, which is like prime sniper support territory, and its drop off really isn't all that severe. Over range, it holds its own as well. So here we're going for the MX silencer, better control also helps out with that range a little bit. We're gonna go for the Cooper custom barrel, better damage range, better fire rate, which is pretty nice, then also better control. I like the 2.5 times optic on here. It's perfect for that sniper support area, also not like unusable for some long range. It's still pretty easy to stay on target. I also really like the 45 RS stock here, better ADS and then also better initial firing recoil control, so nice little added benefit there. For the underbarrel, you got some options. You could use the skeletal if you want to get some better movement out of that. You could go for Carver if you wanted to for some better control. You could go for the hand stop as well, which I think is probably going to be the most consistent here, but you can definitely pick and choose depending on what values you want to increase the most. 9mm 60 here. We're also going to go for the very unique compressed rounds for that better fire rate. It's still super easy to control while using those, at least in my own opinion. I honestly really like the hatched grip here for the better control. You don't need a ton of it, but it does help out here and there. Perk 1, we're going to go for tight grip for better control yet again, and then also we're going to run some fully loaded on there for that maximized ammo. Like I said, very consistent sniper support setup and just pretty versatile all around. Now we got a rare MW weapon sighting, the Finn. It's still frying at pretty much all ranges, especially long range. It's got a sub 850 millisecond TTK at about 60 meters, which is very similar to where the NZ was during its prime, obviously. So it's a top choice for sure when it comes to pure TTK. It is slower though, it's a little bit more awkward to use, but it's easy to shoot and it obviously has great stats. That's why it's in the video, right? Basic setup though, monolithic suppressor, the long shot adverse barrel for the better fire rate. That's what's gonna give it its insane TTK. Without this barrel, the weapon's kind of useless, I'm not gonna lie. VOK 3 times optic on there. I'm also going for the Commando foregrip. And then I don't feel like you necessarily have to run a magazine here if you don't want to. I feel like you could get away with using the 100 round extended mag here, just fine. Those belts work good. But if you didn't want to run a magazine, you could go for a tack laser to get a better ADS. You could go for a stock if you wanted to get a better strafe speed, or you could go for something like sleight of hand to get a faster reload. All of those work just fine. This is more of a basic setup that I think most players will probably flock to, but you you got some options. Surprisingly, the NIKITA is also up here. This has seen several buffs recently, and it is now a top sniper support option up there with the Cooper, and just a very consistent rifle in general. It actually has a sub 690 millisecond TTK, nice, through 44 meters, which is a really impressive first damage range. So that for sniper support, pristine, some would say. Here, obviously, we're going for MX silencer. I like the precision barrel the best. There's a lot of barrels here that extend the range and the control and whatnot, but precision to me just seems the most well-rounded, especially for the build we're trying to focus on here. 2.5 times optic, 3 to 6 sort of comes down to your preference. I'm always going for 2.5 times though. For the stock here, you got a couple of options yet again. The AVT RS is better for that initial firing recoil, so that's not too bad. Notch is pretty simple, just basic, better control. These other ones are more movement based, so I wouldn't go for those, but I'm gonna go for Notch personally, just for the simple control aspects. Again, for the underbarrels, if you want to build a more aggressive one, you could definitely weigh your options here. Something like a ready grip could be decent, skeletal yet again, but Carver and hand stop for control are obviously going to be pretty consistent. I like the 50 round extended mag here, basic, but it gets the job done. Length end, and then we're also going to go for polymer on here for that better control. Perk 1, I feel like Perfectionist does the job pretty well, better control, whereas flinch resistance, but that's not really an end-all be-all like con to have on there that's going to make you stray away from it. Brace, also not a bad option, and sleight of hand is usable as well. Any of those really would work just fine. And then again, fully loaded on there, no surprises there. But yeah, I'm actually really having a lot of fun with the NIKITA right now. It's a good time, it's a good gun, fun to use. And then lastly, we got the GRAV. Now this thing, in my opinion, has a lot more recoil than the other weapons on this list, but it also has some of the best TTK stats. We're looking at a sub 750 millisecond through 38 meters, so it's prime for sniper support. I think that's where it shines the most. But if you wanted to try and use this long range, it also has an 850 millisecond TTK at 60 meters, very similar to like the Fins. So it is versatile in that way, but its control is not super great. Regardless of the setup here, we're obviously going to go for the basic Cold War copy and paste, in my opinion. Task Force on here is going to give you that optimal control, but also the range and the velocity. Something like Takedown could also work though, as could Ranger. Totally comes down to preference there, and again, I would try and weigh your options, test them out in game, and see which one feels the best to you. We got to go for the 3 times optic on here as well. Definitely want to be using field agent grip, and I think lastly you want to go for something like a 50 round extended mag as well. So basic setup, the control is the hurdle you got to pass here, but after that it is very solid. And yeah, with all that being said, those are the top 5 best TTK loadouts in the game right now. You're gonna fry with these things. They're going to erase anyone that's in your sights. I love using them, and I like the fact that they're not necessarily all the main meta weapons as well, you know. But that's gonna wrap things up. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know by dropping a like on it, and if you're new here, feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.